please welcome our very special guest, the Honourable Justice Michael Kirby.
Your Excellency, Your Excellency, Mr. Premier, fellow citizens and visitors to this much blessed country, under different skies, at the beginning of a new millennium, in an old land and a young nation, we join together in the hope and conviction that the future will be kinder and more just than the past. At a time when there's so much fear and danger, anger and destruction, this event represents an alternative vision, struggling for the soul of humanity. This is the competitive idea for all of us: acceptance, diversity, inclusiveness, participation, tolerance and joy. Ours is a world of love, questing to find the common links that bind all people. We are here because, whatever our sexuality, we know that the days of exclusion are numbered. This is a great night for Australia, because we are a nation in the process of reinventing ourselves. We began our modern history by denying our Indigenous peoples and their rights. We embraced white Australia. Women could play little part in public life. Their place was in the kitchen. And as for gays and lesbians, transgender, bisexuals, intersex and other sexual minorities, they were an abomination. Lock 'em up, throw away the key. Well, we've not corrected all of these wrongs, but we are surely on the road to enlightenment, and there will be no U-turns. Little did my partner Jan, who's up there in the stadium, little did he think 30 years ago, as we danced the night away at the Purple Onion, less than a mile from this place, that we would be at the opening of a gay games with the representative of Her Majesty the Queen and all of you to bear witness to such a revolution. Nor did we think that we would be in a football stadium dancing with the governor, and that the governor would be a woman. True it is, we rubbed shoulders on that dance floor with knights of the realm such as Sir Robert Helpman, and with a future Premier such as Don Dunstan. But if an angel had tapped us on our youthful and beautiful shoulders and told us of tonight, we would have said, impossible. Well, nothing is impossible to the human spirit, and science and truth always ultimately prevail. So here we are tonight, men and women, Indigenous and newcomers, black and white, Australians and visitors, religious and atheist, young and not so young, straight and gay together, It's put best in your programs, and in the sober light of morning you must read the program by Corey Sock, an Australian basketballer in these games. He says, "It's good to be able to throw out the stereotypes. We're not all sissies, we don't all look the same, and we're not all pretty." Now, you may think that his last comment should be disputed, because real beauty lies in the fact that we are here united, not in negatives of hate and exclusion, so common, but in the positives of love and inclusion. The changes over the past 30 years wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for people of courage, who rejected the common ignorance about sexuality, who taught that variations are a normal and universal aspect of the human species, that they're not going away, that they're no big deal, and that between consenting adults, we've just got to get used to it and get on with life. My people of courage certainly include Oscar Wilde, his suffering, his interpretation of suffering, and the ordeal of many others brought the changes we witness tonight. And I would include Alfred Kinsey. In the midst of the McCarthyist era in the United States, he and those who followed him dared to investigate the real facts about human sexual diversity. In Australia, I'd also include as heroes politicians of every major political party, most of them heterosexual. Over 30 years, they dismantled many of the unjust laws, but the very first of them was Don Dunstan. He proved once again Don proved in South Australia the astonishing fact that good things sometimes happen when the dancing stops. I'd also add Rodney Croome and Nick Toonan. They took Australia to the United Nations. They took our country to the United Nations to get rid of the last criminal laws against gay men in Tasmania. And now the decision in their name stands for the whole world. I'd include Neil Blewett, who led Australia's first battle against AIDS. Judy Connelly, Molly Meldrum, Robin Archer, Karen Phelps, Ian Roberts, and many, many others. This is not just an Australian story. In every land, a previously frightened and oppressed minority is awakening from a long sleep to assert its dignity. We should honour those who've looked into themselves and spoken the truth. Now they are legion, and it's the truth that makes us free. I think of Tom Waddell, the founder of these games. His last words, the last words of his life were, "This should be interesting." Well, look around. What an understatement. I think of Greg Louganis, twice Olympic gold medalist, who came out as gay and HIV positive and said it was the gay games that emboldened him to tell it as it was. I too, like Roberto, think of Mark Bingham. Je pense à Bertrand Delanoë, le meilleur ouvertement gay de Paris. Poignardé à l'hôtel de ville au cours de la nuit blanche, il a fait preuve d'un très grand courage et il est un homme exceptionnel. And when the gay mayor of Paris was stabbed by a homophobe, he commanded that the party at which it happened should dance till dawn. Do that in his honor tonight. Do it in the honor of the Cairo 52. Do it in the honor of the sister movement in Namibia. Do it for Al-Fatiha, the gay movement of Muslims. Do it for all who are struggling for their dignity. And I think of all of you who've come together on this magical night to affirm the fundamental unity of all human beings, to reject ignorance, hatred, error, and to embrace love, which is the ultimate foundation of all human rights. So let the word go out from Sydney and the Gay Games of 2002 that the movement for equality is unstoppable. Its message will eventually reach the four corners of the world, and these Gay Games in Sydney will be another catalyst to make that happen. Be sure, be very sure, that in the end, inclusion will replace exclusion. For the sake of the planet and for the sake of humanity, it must be so. Amusez-vous bien, et par l'exemple de nos vies, défendant les droits de l'humanité pour tous, non seulement pour les gays, pour tout le monde. Have a great time in Sydney, and by our lives, let us be an example of respect for human rights. Not just for gays, for everyone.